Hey everybody, I am Vishani and thank you for joining me on the very first episode of my podcast video series. Welcome to Hollywoodland. I have legit tried to film this at least 29 times and I have the footage to prove it. But I am still here and we're gonna get this done, and I guess that's all that matters, right? So the reason why I wanted to do this series is because people ask me all the time about my experience in LA. How did I get started? How did I go about moving? What kind of work did I do when I got there? How do you get in front of casting directors? What about representation? How do you find an agent or a manager? Where do you get headshots? Or how do you put together a reel? There's so much information that I've been able to gain through my own experience. And I thought I would share it so that hopefully learning about my journey will be able to impact someone on their journey in a positive way. So I love to help people and I love to share. So this helps me do both, being able to share something and see it click for someone, or see them to be able to implement it and use it, or just to even have a little more information and a little less fear about what they're trying to do. I live for those moments. So in a selfish kind of way, because I do think we're all connected, I think that helping you is actually a way of helping me. So what was I doing before I moved to LA? Great question. I was living in the DC area, in the DMV area.
PG County.
I don't know why I feel the need to do that every time I say it, but I do. And I had a very, I would say, conventional, traditional lifestyle. I was married. I had a regular 9-to-5 job with an hour and a half commute each way. I had a house and it was a really, really beautiful house. In fact, we should take a moment of silence for that house. Amen. It was really great. And acting was always in my life, but more so on the back burner or as a hobby in a way. You know, I had my good government job. So that's where most of my energy went. I was still taking acting classes after work. I would audition for either web series or student projects, community projects, whenever I could after work or on weekends. I would take workshops and go sit in on panel discussions after work or on weekends. And I never really looked at acting as a way to sustain myself, or that it's something that I could make a living at doing when I was back east. And so I kind of treated it as such. I remember sitting in on an actor's workshop with an instructor that came down from New York. And he was basically like, if you guys want to treat acting like it's a hobby, great, more power to you. Just, you can't be mad then when it pays you like a hobby instead of like a career. And that was probably like one of the first seeds that I can remember being planted in terms of how you approach this industry will be how it will pay you, and whatever you're planting, that's going to be what it yields. So I ended up losing my job. I don't know that it was ever a career, but definitely the security that I associated that work with, it was gone. Instantaneously gone. And what hit me was, if there's this illusion of security that we're putting into this work that we're doing because it's a 9-to-5 job, like if there is no stability in that either, I might as well do something that I love and deal with the insecurity and kind of craziness and chaos of that industry as well, because at least I'd be doing something that I love and that I'm really passionate about, and that I can see myself doing forever. So once I had that experience, then I started to approach the industry in a different way. Instead of approaching it like a hobby or something that I would do after work or when my survival job would allow, I started to pursue it like, this is what I do. This is my job. I am an actress. I want to be masterful at my craft. I take it seriously because this is what I want for myself. You know, what I learned after I decided to pursue this more full time is that there was a lot of work out there, a lot of work available. I did industrials, I worked with the government. That was fun. I did commercials, regional commercials, print ads. There was just a lot of work. I had an agent in Philadelphia, and I was able to get that representation through a showcase that I did in Philadelphia. And she introduced me to this really amazing casting director in Philadelphia who does a lot of big name movies. At one point I was traveling to Philadelphia and New York to audition for shows. And those were long, grueling days, but the opportunities were still very much out there. I think the difference between being out there and being in a larger market like in LA is that you don't necessarily need representation. It's much more intimate, so you can make personal connections with casting directors, and they will contact you personally to come in. And like I said, because the market is smaller, you can usually find out about a casting from your fellow actors, from different databases, newsletters. It's just a matter of getting plugged in. There's Dragon Neck Connects, where I found a lot of job opportunities, and that's like a database on the East Coast in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area that has a lot of casting notices. Erica Arvold is a casting director out there, Kimberly Skirm Casting, Pat Moran, Kathy Wickline. There are quite a few, and there are classes. I worked with DC Improv, I think the Washington Improv Theater, John Pallotta, I studied with him forever. Tom Todoroff, he came down and I probably sat in on, I would say, at least 2 or 3 of his intensives, which were life-changing. There's just so much out there to discover. It may not seem like there's as much opportunity, but when you get plugged in, you realize that these opportunities, they are real, and they can put you on a track, on a really great track for your career. And people are willing to help They're willing to help, they're excited to help. They're more accessible because they don't have to worry about a couple thousand actors trying to get at them. It may be like 10 who make it to the panel discussion because everyone else had to work. I'm playing, kind of, sort of. But no, it's a really great, intimate market for you to grow and learn and do what you love. So I ended up getting representation in LA because while I was back east, I was doing workshops, and one of the studios that put on these workshops regularly, they were hosting one in Los Angeles also. And so I was doing a web series in DC, one of my dearest projects, DC Yuppies. And I actually did a showcase in LA as well. I got my first commercial agent in LA from that showcase. And from then on, I was kind of traveling back and forth from the East Coast to LA. I probably did that for about 3 or 4 months. I was staying with friends that I had met at that showcase prior. So it was really kind of full circle in that way, that we were all kind of embarking on this new beginning together, and we had met at this same place and time, and it was just a really beautiful, magical experience. So that is how I transitioned to Los Angeles and found representation. And that's where we're going to stop today, boys and girls. I have put together a resource list, and basically it just includes all the different resources that I've mentioned in this video, as well as maybe ones that I couldn't think of off the top of my head that were very helpful for me when I was on the East Coast. So I want you all to have that, and you can get it 2 ways. You can get it. You can either email me at info@vishani.com. It's in the information below, or you can click the link in my bio and it will take you to my website where you can send it there as well. Or you can visit my Patreon page. These videos and resources will be listed there. And for as little as $1 a month, you too can have access. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, for as little as $1 a month, you can have access to everything that is listed on that page. And it'll be videos, resources. There should already be a couple up for you. Yeah, you can give as little as $1 or as much as you'd like to. As much as your heart desires to support. So, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'd love to provide any kind of guidance or answers that I can. And I do not have all the answers. Again, I do not have all of the answers. I would be starring in Ava DuVernay's new Dawn project that's coming out, her and Charles King, if I had all the answers. But I do know that the journey is a lot less lonely when you have people to share it with and community, and especially during this time of COVID and vaccines and I don't know, these could be the end days. So I wanted to end our time together with a quote, because I love quotes, and hopefully this will resonate with you. And it's called The Uses of Sorrow by Mary Oliver. And it says, "In my sleep, I dreamed this poem. Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift." And to all of my artist friends out there and my fellow creatives, if you're feeling this way or you've ever felt this way, just know that it'll serve you. It'll serve you as you express yourself in your art, as you grow from whatever that was in life. And that's really what our artist work here is all about. Sharing our stories, empathizing with others, creating connection, allowing others to be seen through us and through the characters we portray. So that really struck me when I first read it. So I thought I would share it with all of you. Please like, please subscribe, and share. And we will see you on the big screen. Bye! Till next time. First episode of my podcast. I have my good, my pod series. What is it? My pod? For as little as $1 a month. If you wanted to become a Patreon, jeez. Music.